What's up, people? I'm Halls, and this is Defeat the Enemy. And usually there would be some kind of self-deprecating humour at this point, but I really can't be fucked with all that today. So today we're going to be taking a final look at Yakuza 5 on the PlayStation 3. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, damn, I heard that game's Jap only. I didn't realise you were fluent in Japanese. I mean, I knew you had infinitely correct opinions about video games, and you're smart as fuck, and you have literally the best and sexiest voice on all of YouTube, but this speaking the Japanese thing is the icing on the cake. Well, hold your horses, kiddo, because I don't speak a fucking word of Japanese. Now, I know, actually that's not true, I know 3 words in Japanese: Yoshihiro, Tajiri, and Kenta. Now, those are all wrestler names, so that doesn't count. Point is, I played this shit with no fucking idea what was going on. So, what is Yakuza 5? It's essentially a JRPG, but instead of turn-based combat, it's a 3D beat-em-up, and instead of a fantasy or sci-fi setting, it's set in modern-day Japan's criminal underworld. The gameplay consists of walking around Japanese cities, getting attacked by random Yakuzas and the Japanese equivalent of chavs and random guys in shiny silver suits and street fighters and martial artists and whatever other random shit you see on Japan's streets nowadays. Then you punch and kick those dudes, which builds up your heat bar. And when your heat bar is full, you can pull off devastating finishing maneuvers. You can also do story missions, which usually involve listening to a conversation, playing a minigame, or just beating the shit out of more dudes. So there are 5 playable characters, each with a different fighting style. Kazuma Kiryu is the main character of the series. Akiyama is from Yakuza 4, as is Saejima. The new guy is new. I don't actually know his name because the whole fucking game's in Japanese, so I just call him New Guy. And the 5th character is a bit of a departure for the series. It's Kazuma's kind of unofficial adopted daughter, Haruka, is now a playable character. Of course, being a 16-year-old girl, she doesn't roam the streets beating the shit out of thugs, so Haruka's gameplay is a rhythm action game. Her story revolves about her dream of becoming a pop star. The Haruka section was actually really enjoyable. I haven't played a rhythm action game since Guitar Man on the Dreamcast, but I almost felt sad when it was over and I had to move on to Akiyama's section. There's also a fuck ton of mini-games. There's 2 kinds of baseball now. There's a bunch of arcade games and UFO catchers. There's like a bunch of different gambling games. There's driving, hunting, a massive fighting tournament, riding jet skis, stuff like that. There's probably a bunch more that I never even found because I can't read a fucking word of Japanese. So, who knows? But yeah, there is an absolute fuck ton of content in this game. So, is it any good? Yes, it's fucking good. Yakuza is one of my all-time favourite series, and no, I don't care what the correct pluralization of that word is. All-time favourite series, and 5 is a worthy addition. The combat is just as satisfying as ever. The engine has been redone to allow truly massive brawls. You fight a fucking bear. It's the biggest and best of the games so far. One problem I have with the game is actually the lack of an English localization. You do miss a lot by playing in Japanese if you don't speak it. Not just the story, which seemed pretty interesting from the cutscenes, but obviously I didn't understand a fucking word. But there were also gameplay repercussions. So to unlock the most powerful moves, you needed to do special missions from trainers who you find during the game, and they're located in the open world. But good fucking luck figuring out how to do their missions with no Japanese, basically. Like, you're fucked if you don't speak the language. Also, the game seemed a little on the easy side, even on hard difficulty, although, to be honest, I blame that more on having played through all 4 previous Yakuza games, rather than this one being particularly easy. And also, boss fights are annoying and they're as annoying and seemingly unfair as the rest of the series. Like, bosses follow a completely different set of rules to you and to all the other characters in the game. They have like unblockable attacks. They have stuns that no one else has. They can hit you during your combos. So you'll be hitting them. They'll just like ignore the stagger and just start hitting you back and doing their own combos. It fucking sucks fighting them, to be honest. I don't enjoy the boss fights at all. But those minor gripes aside, this game is well worth a playthrough for fans of the series, even if they don't speak Japanese. But I'd recommend newcomers play through at least 3 or 4, or 3 and 4, or 1, 2, 3 and 4. What am I talking about? This is why I don't improvise, because I just talk shit. Anyway, I'd recommend newcomers play through at least 3 or 4 just to get the system down before jumping into a foreign game with no idea what's going on. If you don't know the difference between a Torina Plus and a Toughness Z, don't bother with 5 until you know your shit. For everyone else, don't be put off by the language barrier. It is still a fucking awesome game.